What's poppin', my crew? Hope you guys have all been doing well. Today we find ourselves in familiar sights and familiar settings, back in good old Atlanta, Georgia, out to just do some regular foaming. Well, somewhat regular.
What are you talking about?
The reason I actually came out today was because there was something a bit special going up in the sky.
My eyes!
There was a solar eclipse today.
Wow.
And let me say eclipse in quotes because I'm gonna be honest, that thing barely made the day look dark. I'm gonna be for real. It wasn't that special. And in addition to the eclipse, I had also gotten word that there were a few goodies running out on the rails today. And following the hype of the day, I decided I'd see what trains I could find in the midst of this event. So after arriving trackside and immediately missing a northbound manifest, I was trying to make my way towards Inman Yard, going over the King Plow Bridge to find a CSX parked manifest with a tier 4 sitting, as the sun was slowly but surely getting more and more blocked by the minute. And with no other trains at this spot, I finally pushed my way towards Inman Yard, stopping at the bridge overlooking the south end so I could see both the Norfolk Southern trackage and to see if there was anything running on the CSX main line. And coming here, I would find a parked CSX empty coal train and a clear aspect on the Inman Yard signals.
Nice.
So I at least knew something was going to be running out of the yard soon. Looking back to the sky, we can see that the sun is getting more and more eclipsed, and an effect of this eclipsing, besides it obviously getting darker, was that the shadows were supposed to be eclipse-shaped, just based on the shape of the sun. And looking at the tracks, I could not tell, and it also wasn't looking much darker. I frankly was darker than it was outside.
Oh my god.
So with the eclipse at this time giving me not much to look at, I turned my attention to the rails to see some NS power sneakily parked behind some containers. So from here, I went to the PCI pull-off to find what that power was. 2 Norfolk Southern Gevos,
Disgusting black creatures.
8046 and 7645. The second unit having a lot of lore that we'll eventually get to, maybe in 3 years, who knows. Seeing international containers before me, I had assumed that this was Norfolk Southern 242, building up his manifest cut before it leaves Inman Yard. And with no action on the train right now, the last shot not being anything special, and the conductor getting out of the cab, I decided to make my way to Inman Yard. But I didn't make it there.
What?
Instead, I found myself back at the bridge overlooking the south end of Inman Yard to be jump scared by the actual Norfolk Southern 242. It turns out that train that we'd seen parked here was Norfolk Southern 282 with an international cut on the front for whatever reason. Now maybe you're thinking that me getting jump scared by this train on the way to Inman Yard is why I turned around.
No.
The reason that I came back here is on the CSX side. And if we go towards the CSX side of this bridge, we can see exactly what made me race back here.
Oh my goodness!
CSX M583 with CSX 3194, the spirit of our law enforcement unit leading.
Incredible.
My squad. I was literally biking to the bridge overlooking Inman Yard, and as I'm biking over there, I'm hearing locomotive noises, and I'm thinking to myself, it's probably just a Geva on the NS side, and then I see a gap in the trees. All I see is blue. I hit the meanest 180 on that bike, bro. Turned around as fast as I could, biked up this egregious hill as fast as I could. Man, that is definitely the hardest I have ever gone in my life, pumping and dumping. My legs, guys. My legs. And fortunately for me, it stopped. And very fortunate, because I guarantee you if it didn't stop, there is no way I would have seen it. Stopping for what? At this point, I don't know. The CSX coal train wasn't blocking its path, and I didn't know if there was anything else lined on the CSX side, but I assumed it just because M583 was parked here. And with nothing special on the NS side right now, I decided to keep myself posted here, waiting for 3194 to eventually start moving. And as I did sit on this bridge, waiting for some sort of new activity, I decided to turn my attention back to the skies, where now we can see that the sun has been incredibly eclipsed, and yet it's somehow still this bright outside. Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I think that's pretty cool. Returning our attention back to the Norfolk Southern side, we can now see the tail end of 242 snaking his way up the Greenville district. And as soon as it crossed Howell Y, Norfolk Southern 282 got lined right up behind it as they extended past the yard limits, continuing to do their work. And while they were doing this, there was another train line behind us, Norfolk Southern 219. If you know, you know. With the head end of 219 cleared, the consoles not being that much special, and 282 having stopped, I went back to the CS6 side just in case 3194 started moving, hoping to see either M583 departing or some other train coming in, but instead being surprised to see a coyote on the tracks.
What the dog doing?
Yeah, didn't know those were around in this area. I might need to watch out for that. But anyways, CSX was still dead, and I went back to the Norfolk Southern side because there was another intermodal train passing by. Norfolk Southern 287, a 287 bearing yet another specialty to add to this outing. Another train, another special unit.
Nice.
We love to see it. Norfolk Southern 287 was actually coming into a stop right now, and with the price of this train having already passed, and 282 still showing little activity, I turned my attention right back to the CSX tracks, still waiting for M583, in the midst of the Eclipse still going on above us. And of course, in typical Atlanta fashion, just when you least expect it, there is always just a random rush of trains passing by. Finally, we get to see some action on the CSX side, with this random manifest coming in towards the Tilford area. With the tail end of this manifest clearing, and the peak of the solar eclipse having also cleared. What? Yeah, I know, that was the peak.
So sorry.
Finally, 3194 started moving, oddly with only the power set. I sold pretty bad.
What do you mean by that?
Yo, I'm still disappointed in myself for doing this. For some reason, my goofy self thought that 3194 was gonna be on the middle track, and therefore it was gonna be completely blocked by the coal train, so I wouldn't be able to get a bright lit shot. And I don't know why I thought that, because I literally just saw a CSX manifest running on the middle track, running past 3194.
Are you stupid? Yeah.
So I was specifically posted on the backlit side where I thought I'd be able to get a better view of the paint. And unfortunately for me, I legit noticed at the last second that I was looking at the wrong track. The locomotives were right under me and it was too late.
This is the shot you ended up with.
And as these engines go light past the curve, you could probably guess what they were doing. They were switching tracks.
Bruh.
So now it is actually on the middle track, and I actually can't even get a front lit view because of this parked coal train. So literally the thing that I was trying to avoid actually happened. And when it wasn't happening, I was acting as if it was. Just, oh my goodness, bro.
This guy stinks!
3194 continued reversing over to the Tilford area, back past the head end of the contest. I honestly don't know what they were doing. And as they did that, Norfolk Southern 282 finally started departing for North Carolina. And honestly, at this point, the Eclipse was done. There was nothing more for me to look for in the sky. There weren't any more Norfolk Southern specialties that I knew of. We had already caught the main prize on Norfolk Southern 287. And so now, the only reason that I was still out was hoping that 3194 would come back and that I'd be able to get a front lit shot to redeem myself from whatever nonsense I was doing earlier. And as a complete insult to injury, right after Norfolk Southern 282's tail end cleared, the CSX empty coal train started moving.
Boy, ain't no wait, boy.
You just don't wait until 3194 is gone to actually clear up the space where I could have gone a front-lit shot. What a useless, bogus train, bro. In typical Atlanta fashion, it's never dead for very long, because less than 10 minutes after the tail end of this train cleared, I would start hearing rumbling on the Norfolk Southern side. So I rushed over there to just barely catch this intermodal, with an interesting surprise trailing second.
Whoa.
What is this?
An ex-BNSF XKCS-9. These are older locomotives that Norfolk Southern has purchased to be put into the DC to AC rebuild program that Norfolk Southern has been ramping out like crazy. And since it's clear that NS wants to build more than what they have in stock in their own Dash 9s, they decided to get more GEs from outside sources. Hence why locomotives like these are running until they eventually get put into the deadlines and put through the rebuild. Until that does happen though, they're still functional and they can still provide pulling power for trains. Trains such as the Norfolk Southern 28J that we are seeing departing Inman Yard right now, and running next to a random CSX manifest that's originating from, I have literally no idea. Just typical Atlanta antics out on the railroad. And with 28J clearing Inman Yard, you would see the last Norfolk Southern train that you would catch for this day, as some random CSX power appears off in the distance right behind it. The specific intermodal is Norfolk Southern 24A, an intermodal that I have a deep hatred for. Wow. For reasons that will never be redeemed. At least it had an M-2. Love seeing those. I'm sure the crews don't. Turning back to the CSX side, now that the NS power was cleared, it wouldn't be long before that CSX power revealed itself as a light power move, slowly traversing the curve by the bridge as it heads towards the Tilford Yard area. And with this light power and the slow move of 24A in the Inman Yard, I'm not gonna lie, I gave up. I just gave up on seeing 3194 again. It did eventually leave. When it did, I don't know, but I know it left in daylight because one of my other friends caught it. But as for me, I had stuff to do, I had work to get done, and I decided to just call it quits on this day. Not my proudest shot, you know what I'm saying, but it was still a good day. Caught a lot of trains, saw some interesting units, and overall just had a fun time trackside. Hope that you guys enjoyed this adventure, and as always, my friends, God bless. I will see you soon out on the high iron.